at 18 minutes after the hour. And we welcome to the studio here this morning State Senator Jeff Mullis of the 53rd District. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Hello. Good to be here with you today in beautiful Trenton, Georgia. The birds are chirping and the wind is low and the weather is nice.
It is. The weather is exactly. A little bit chilly this morning over in Piney. I have to admit, I had ice on the windshield. It was 31 when I left the house.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So is this dogwood or blackberry winter or
it's
what?
It's one of them.
Yeah.
I just don't know which, but it's definitely one of them here this morning. Yeah. Well, first of all, since you've been on with us, either by telephone in Atlanta, a lot of things have transpired, including you deciding to end your career as our senator.
Well, it was a tough thought process, and had a lot of people trying to talk me out of it. But I've been here for many, many years, and we've got a great record, and it's just time to go out on the top, and so that's what I've decided to do. And I've really enjoyed serving the people of Dade County and Trenton and all these parts, and it's been a wonderful experience. I've had an incredible journey, Evan, with you and others here in Dade County who've been a part of it, and I truly have enjoyed it and appreciate it too. Well,
I mean, there's no doubt. I don't think anybody, if they really looked at your record in the Senate, which will be coming to a close next year at the start of the next General Assembly.
That's right.
And that will close out 22 years.
Yeah, and let me tell you, out of those 22 years, a couple of significant records. I have authored, co-authored, supported, and voted for more pro-life legislation than anybody else in the General Assembly. And in fact, the Choose Life tag is my bill. I have authored, co-authored, supported, and voted for more pro-gun legislation than anybody else in the General Assembly. I have authored, co-authored, supported, and voted for more pro-business, which is pro-jobs, than anybody else in the General Assembly. I'm the longest-serving Republican, the only Republican served in the minority, and the longest-serving Republican in the majority in Georgia history. So those are some of the, I guess, records that I have, maybe.
Well, what a record for a conservative Republican to be able to say that.
That's right. I mean, it is true. Now, my detractors, they have just basically lied about my record, but that's how they do when they can't prove anything. They just make it up. But that's okay. I've enjoyed it. I know my supporters know the truth. So
that's obvious to the fact that you've been reelected now every 2 years for soon be 22.
Yeah, and the closest of my adversaries at the time that ran against me singly is Bruce Coker. He ran as a Democrat in 2006, and I got 64%. Is that right? It's 64%, and he had 36. So that's the closest that any individual has come to me, or got close to me, was Bruce.
And since then has become a pretty strong supporter.
Yeah, that's right. Now, I've had two occasionally, which together was a little closer, but not individually. And so I've enjoyed running strong all my career here, and I've really appreciated the people of Northwest Georgia making sure I was reelected every time.
Well, I tell you, of course, Dade County's had a little leverage on you, throughout the years because your wife is from
exactly
here,
right.
And she's always, even though you represented the 4 counties, I know that she is standing still strong for you. Make sure you take care of Dade.
Absolutely, and of course, you and many other wonderful friends that I have in Dade, and I truly appreciate everybody too. But I've had a great career, a great record, and I look forward to the next chapter.
Well, in a lot of folks, let's talk about what just happened. We just ended up the legislative session here just a couple of weeks ago, and the constitutional carry passed. already been signed by the governor. I know that there were several bills that were introduced and kind of put together and, come out and had one that passed both the House and the Senate and has now been signed by the governor.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, being the rules chair, I decide what bills go to the floor, and I put that bill on both sides, meaning the Senate bill and the House bill. And eventually the Senate bill passed, and the House put their language on it because they wanted to call it the Johnny Meadows Act from Calhoun, who passed away a few years ago. He was the rules chair in the House. So that passed, and of course I introduced it as well, and I introduced it last year also. So this year the leadership decided to move that forward, and the governor said he was going to sign it. So that made it all good. But I've had many other strong conservative piece of legislations this year.
The tackled what many would say is really some needed relief for law enforcement, because they've ended up in the last 10, 12 years they're having to take care of the mental population of the state, and the mental bill that was passed to kind of overhaul that is a step. Hopefully will be in the right.
Oh, absolutely. Nothing's perfect, and how to eat an elephant one bite at a time, but this is a major passage of the mental health bill, which Georgia and America has done a poor job in helping our mental health people.
And he was able to get language in one of the bills about the gender identity in schools, bathrooms, and things.
That's right. Exactly. We think whatever you're born as is what you should perform as, or play athletics and so forth. So we made it fair for women in athletics that you can't be a man then become a woman and play sports. That's just not fair, and my goodness, it's biblically ridiculous anyway. But we did pass that bill, and one of my bills was to say that the state government couldn't mandate a COVID-19 vaccination. And that passed both chambers. It's waiting the governor's signature, and I'm sure that's going to happen. But we made it that now I've had COVID and I've had my shots, and I think everybody should consider that. But we don't think, and I don't think, the state government should mandate that vaccination.
Well, that was obvious, along with the governor. He was one of the first to open the state back up. I think technically, of course, he had a lot of pushback from all kinds of different folks, but technically, I think Georgia was only, if you want to use the word lockdown, for like 3 weeks.
Yeah, the Governor Kemp was the first governor of state to open the doors and want to keep businesses still alive, because this was a tough year for many businesses when it comes to the pandemic. Now, hardware and those kind of things, and even golf was flourishing, but the rest of our lives were somewhat shut down, and still our manufacturing and fast food and retail are still struggling with help, and I still hadn't figured out where they all are.
It's the economy was, before COVID, was so good, and then then COVID hit, and I talked with our superintendent here a couple of times during the process, and we'd always lead back to the fact that they did not have a COVID handbook that they handed him out when he became superintendent and said, now, if you have a pandemic, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
So a lot, and I'm sure it's the same way in the Senate and the House, a lot of this was just having to go by research and what's going to be the best, and not knowing.
That's
and
right.
Back and forth, and it was a lot of trial and error.
And that's why we don't know until years from now, and we look back and say, oh, we did that right, or no, we didn't do that right, or we should have done this. So we've got a long way to decide what has been effective and what hasn't. But you have to give our social workers and our EMTs and law enforcement and firefighters a big salute for the efforts they've made in trying to take care of people in this pandemic when nobody really knew what to expect, and we still don't.
Absolutely. Senate Bill 202 was, I know you were one of the first people here in North Georgia to come out and said, hey, we've got to do something for the election that we had, and you were authored, and along with a lot of other colleagues, I'm sure, but Senate Bill 202. Now, does it go completely where we need to go? I think I've heard even you say that, but it was, it's where it's a great start because we had to do something.
That's right. And the biggest fraud proponent perhaps would be the absentee ballot. And as you know, when you sign one of those electronic boxes at the grocery store with your name on it, sometimes it doesn't look anything like your signature. So in trying to verify the signatures was a impossible job, and I'm certain and afraid some of the major counties didn't do it at all. So that's the biggest problem that I think we had, because most people don't understand that the voting machines, elected Donald Trump by over 300,000 votes. So that kind of proved to be the fact, and they verified the paper side of it and the electronic side, and they match. However, the absentee ballot, I think, was the biggest problem, and we believe that we fixed that on Senate Bill 202, which again is election reform bill. And there are many aspects to that. The drop boxes are inside the couple of the precincts, and they are monitored, and you can only drop family. You can't drop everybody. So I believe that will subside the cheating aspect that we believe happened in the last election.
Well, I know that, still a lot of talk about it. I guess, various issues will always come up during the election cycle. We got a primary, we got a Democratic primary and a Republican primary coming up on May 24th here in the state of Georgia. And as we started out, the first time in 22 years, your name will not be on there.
I know, it's a sad thing for me, but again, we're going to focus on our job here and work with our economic development people, as well as you and William Back here in this county, along with Ted Rumley and the county commissioner and so forth. And we have prospects that are interested in Dade County. We're going to work that and hopefully work as a team to bring it to Dade County and other things. And the county's expanding. Yeah.
Even friends that that when they heard the news that you were not going to seek re-election, and I had a few of them come up and say, "Well, what's he going to do now?" And and my first thing is, well, he's going to do his job.
That's right.
And because they lost. I mean, the Senate and your longevity there, and the Rules Committee, and the things that you're able to do for the district really kind of overshadowed. But your full-time job is economic development for the 4 counties in North Georgia.
That's right, and we're going to focus on that. There have been so many rumors, like I've been appointed to this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to run for this, and none of it was true. It's just speculation. But I'm going to focus on my job, and we're going to do well. I was working as a team to make sure that we help existing industries grow and help recruit new businesses to Trenton, Dade County, and Northwest Georgia.
Well, the economic impact of North Georgia. We're getting folks start looking out for wanting to bring plants, and after post, I guess this would be considered post-COVID, I guess.
I hope
era.
so.
And things seem to be really starting to heat back up.
Look, we've had over 75 requests for information in just months. That doesn't happen in 3 years. So I think a lot of companies are waiting to expand. They're just waiting to see what the COVID's going to conclude with, and I bet you that we'll have a lot of new activity here.
Well, and we will continue to have you back on. Once again, we said at the beginning of the program, today we're visiting with our state senator, Jeff Mullis, after 22 years at the end of his tenure. Not on the ballot coming up, but he will be he will be the senator until next year when the gavel comes together for the next session.
Yeah, 9:59 on January 9th, 2023.
So
that's when it'll end.
A lot of folks doesn't realize, even some of the candidates that I've heard for various jobs at the state level and also at the federal level, that bringing things and helping the constituents of your district is a large part, or should be a large part of your job, to be able to. I know that, I've seen you meet with many people here in Dade County about issues that, quite frankly, that you couldn't really help on, but you met with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we have, I have created legislation from those meetings right here in Dade County. In fact, one of them was Miss Hawkins. Wasn't she like the county nurse at one time?
Absolutely. We all got our shots way back when.
And she said, look, we need to teach CPR in high school. Great idea. As you know, I was a last fire chief of the little city of Chickamauga and was what do you call it? First responder. Thank you. And was in ambulance many times. I think with you, I was pumping chest compressions while you were administering other things. And so I understand that aspect of it. But anyway, Miss Hawkins said we ought to teach CPR. So we did. It was my bill, and Dade County went all in and had the ambulance service provide dummies so they would be certified. Now, we didn't actually have to have it certified, but Trenton and Dade County did.
And the schools can do that if they want, but they actually have to be taught that in all of Georgia's schools. I remember Governor Dale coming up, and he actually signed that law
right here
at the high school.
At the Dade County Wolverine gym.
That's exactly right. There's been a number of other bills that you've been associated with or authored. One comes to mind is no smoking in restaurants.
That's right. I met with a couple here, and they said, "Hey, we ought to do that." And so I went to Senator Don Thomas. He's an MD from Dalton, and he did that. It took him 3 times to pass it. But at the end, it was a great bill, and our world has changed. You don't go in a restaurant now and smell cigarette smokes. In the past, they had a smoking section, but that wasn't really efficient. You could smell some smoke. And so it's just a different world in eating, I believe, now. And I think I appreciate it better.
One of the most significant, I think, because it goes right to keeping victims safe or potential victims safe, is Jessica Costella got with you just a few years ago and said, hey, there is some loopholes in the laws concerning sexual predators and things of that nature. And you took her information and even brought a Senate hearing committee up to Dade County, and I think she may have testified in it to talk. And
that's right.
And y'all redid the sex offender laws.
So what that proves is that people really make the difference. It's not legislators. They don't have all the ideas. It's listening to your constituents or people in the area. And she was amazing in that, and I appreciate her for today. And going back to Ms. Hawkins, soon after we passed that and the governor signed it, there's an incident at Cloudland Canyon where down by the river, somebody had a heart attack, and there were 2 students from Dade County, and they resuscitated him and kept him alive till the paramedics got there. And he's alive today. It could be just because of their training at Dade County High School with CPR.
Absolutely, I remember that, and it was just a few weeks after they had received their training at the school that they were able to put that into action. And like you said, that gentleman is walking around today because of that particular. And it took a lady that had dedicated her life in healthcare.
Yes.
But she got with you, and and then you put it in motion at the state level and got it passed. Governor signed it, and this guy is now alive because of that piece of
so you never know what can happen, and just like with Jessica and what we did there, we may have saved some children's lives too. But that's what it takes when you listen to people and then you react and try to make it happen. Now, this year we try to work on fentanyl. Is that what it's called?
Yes. Yeah. And terrible thing.
I know, it's terrible. And the bill that we had just didn't make it through. However, there's another bill that they added some language to, and I'm not clear on all the details, but we may have had a little breakthrough in that. And if not, I know next year that they'll work on it as well.
Well, we just have the pushers that you and I would call them from our younger days.
Way back.
The people who prey on individuals to sell them drugs are now lacing them with this very dangerous and somewhat highly addictive drug. If drugs are not all dangerous, they're lacing marijuana all the way to methamphetamine with fentanyl on top of what the reactions you get out of those, and a lot of folks are dying. We've had a great number of folks here in the North Georgia, North Alabama, Southeast Tennessee area, young folks. Matter of fact, Fox News says that the number one killer now between 18 and 49 is fentanyl.
See, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So something has to be done, and I'm certain it will. I was hoping that we can get a hold of it this year, but just couldn't make it through. But again, there's a bill that had some language on there, and as soon as the cloud settles, we'll find out what it is.
Well, all right, Senator. I know it'd be hard to really sit here and unpack 22 years, in 15, 20 minutes. But we've got all the time now because you're going to be a dual seal for another year.
Yeah.
But after that, you're going to have some time to. Maybe kind of reflect, and we'll definitely have you back to talk more about your years in Atlanta.
Well, thank you. And look, we appreciate you allowing us to call in. This year's a little shaky. We had meetings all over the place that we didn't come together often, but for us to call in and talk to you about what's going on down there, I think it's important that the people up here find out what's going on. And sometimes it takes about 2 weeks after a session for you really know what happened. So we have that information now. We'll share it with you soon.
Senator Jeff Mullis, 53rd District, Dade, Walker, Chattooga, and now I think about 19,000 folks in Floyd County.
Yes, north part of Floyd. That's exactly right.
Got to be a part of the 53rd District.
Yeah, and the problem was a lot of people didn't fill out their census forms, which has a lot of money attached to it, but we had to go find some more people. So we ended up North Floyd. That's a bigger district.
And the 19,000 folks, that's more than the population of Dade County.
I know, it's amazing, actually. I wouldn't have expected that, but that's what happened.
Senator, if anybody has heard anything that they want to get in touch with you and talk with you about, I mean, obviously you're going to be there for almost another year, so it's not like that once you decided to not put your name on the ballot that you would,
Yeah, look, believe me, I'm built like that. I'll still be active, and any way I can ever help somebody, just call me at 706-375 in the birth of our nation, 1776, or my email is jeff.mullis at georgia.org kind of thing.
All right.
So just let me know. And I've truly enjoyed being on your show today, and I'll be back. And thank you, Evan, for always talking with us. We're very grateful for that.
We thank you very much. Senator Jeff Mullis, 53rd District, getting a chance to catch up with him here on the Newsmaker segment from KWM.